how many calories you lose.
Yeah.
But before we go, let's
let us
introduce
move
our
forward.
guest tonight. We have a guest with us tonight, Mr. Thomas Whitaker, better known as TJ. How old did the J come in, man? We're going to get to that. TJ, 14 years at Columbia High School as a parent. He's been in this district for quite some time. He's a language arts teacher at Columbia High School.
The best one. Bro.
And tonight we're going to be talking about the park. But before we get to the park, there actually is a story in the Village Green today. South Orange Maplewood Board of Ed weighs option on park opting out. Mm-hmm. So the South Orange Maplewood Board of Education had a lengthy discussion at this monthly meeting on Monday to debate the possible adoption of a policy to address parents opting their children out of the upcoming park exam. So just for people who don't know what the park is the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. It's a group of states working together to develop a set of assessment that measure whether students are on track to be successful in college and their career. These high-quality computer-based K-12 assessment in mathematics and English language arts literacy give teachers, school students, and parents better information whether students are on track in their learning and for success after high school, and tools to help teachers customize learning to meet students' needs. The park assessment will be ready for states to administer, and it's already ready as far as I'm concerned. Now let's get back to the article. Board members seem divided on whether the board should adopt an official policy on the matter, rather than just having the administration craft specific procedures on how administrators should handle opt-out students. Districts across the state have been grappling with this issue. New Jersey Assemblyman Patrick Dignan, chair of the Assembly Education Committee, is sponsoring a bill that will establish accommodations for opting out. Several New Jersey school districts have created policy that clarify park refusal. The Bloomfield Board of Education passed a resolution saying the district won't punish students who skip the test and will provide educational alternatives when possible. The Princeton Public School requires the parents to submit a written letter. If they do not want their child to sit for the park, those children will be in a separate room during testing time and may read or work independently under staff supervision. The Montclair Board of Education is set to vote on an opt-out policy at its next meeting. During the public comment period, Matthew Milspina, a 6th grader at South Orange Middle School, asked the board to put a policy in place that allows for him and his family to be not penalized for not taking the test and allow for him to place a place to go while testing is occurring, said Milspina. He continued, a lot of other districts have done so. Why not us? Susan Greason said that while the district was still ironing out details of the policy, there will be no disciplinary action taken against students who opt out, and that the district wanted to minimize the stress for everybody involved and maintain a safe environment. So there you have it, a little synopsis of what happened last night there at the board meeting. And as you know, we attended the board meeting as well. And there's a lot of good things coming out of there. A lot of students winning, AP awards and a lot of good stuff. So, I mean, there's also the op-ed piece by Walter Faze, but we're not going to get into that right now. I think I
have a question. So, what is the relationship between the park test and Common Core? Or is there some relationship? TJ?
The park.
Well, TJ, before you go, you have to introduce yourself to the listeners. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
We just want you to.
First, thank you for having me. I want to thank Anselm and Marjorie for inviting me tonight. And as Anselm said, I've been teaching at Columbia for 14 years. I'm also a parent in the district. My daughter is a sophomore at Columbia High School now, and I have another daughter who graduated in 2011. As far as Marjorie's question related to the park is, as it's stated in the materials, the park is Common Core aligned.
Okay.
So there's a direct relationship with the tests and the Common Core.
Do you think these tests? Well, are these tests made by Pearson?
It's Research and Education Association. It's a nonprofit consortium. We did recently. Teachers had to register for test taking materials and preparation, and I believe Pearson is involved.
Of course they are. Uh-huh. Okay.
So let me make sure I understand. What's the difference between the park and the Common Core? Is the Common Core a separate test and the park a separate test, or is park actually the Common Core?
Park is a test. The Common Core is a set of standards, right? The Common Core is a set of national standards, and the park is aligned with those national standards. The exam itself, according to the people who created the test, that it's aligned with the Common Core.
Okay, because I mean, I'm against the Common Core. I want to put that on the record.
I think that's already on the record, Ansem.
Well, okay, so Marjorie, you are for the Common Core, right?
I am for standards, yes, that all people should be able to reach at some point in their life.
Okay, fine.
But I am against Pearson. I am really against the corporation. So
you're against Pearson making all that money from the Common
yeah, I mean,
Core? But you're not against the Common Core.
I'm not against the standards, but I think that it was done with good intention, as the road to hell may have been. But it was done with good intention. I believe that. I mean, as a level of government. But we're not. You're bringing a focus on the testing of students today, and based on these standards, right? Yeah.
So.
But let me ask you: were you at the board meeting long enough to hear the board members talk about the opt-in and the not opting in, or those alternatives? Okay.
No. I wasn't. I think I left before that.
Okay. It was shortly after you left.
Yeah. I left before that. So TJ, kind of bring us up to speed here on, as far as Columbia is concerned, what's going on with the park? I mean, you have kids that are thinking about opting out from the park. This is not just Columbia. This is also in the middle school, right?
Yes, as I understand it, it's across the district. That their parents have been emailing and trying to get information as far as what the process is, what the penalties are, if there would be penalties. Last night at the board meeting, one of the things that came out that was very interesting is Mrs. Grierson stated that there would not be any penalties for students or parents who opted to not have their students take the test. There would not be any decisions made for academic placement based on the results of the test, including graduation. And what I found interesting was on January 21st, our principal at the high school, Mrs. Aaron, gave a presentation, and in her PowerPoint, it does state that parents or students cannot opt out. And it also states that graduation requirements, state and local, will be impacted by the park. So that's a direct contradiction to what was stated at the board meeting last night. So I'm interested to find out exactly what the district's policy is going to be. As I understand it, I did follow up and ask some questions. And what I was told was that the academic placement statement that the test would not impact academic placement included graduation.
Now, when we're talking about academic placement, we're talking about levels.
Exactly.
So
levels for AP, moving up, or down from honors to a college prep, etc.
But how could a parent or parents, be sure that they don't use the park in order to figure out what levels they're going to put their kids in? How can the school system assure the parents that, I didn't go behind this closed door up in the, education department and looked at all these kids and say, all right, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you scored X amount on the park. So we're going to put you in AP classes or in honors classes or in level 4 and so on and so forth. Transparency and accountability, so to speak.
Well, the answer to I don't know how the school can assure parents, especially, I mean, just to be honest, especially in a district where there's a history of a lack of trust on the part of some of the members of the public, people in the African American community, and in many instances have a legitimate right to not trust some of what's going on in the school system based on their experiences, based on things that have happened over the last few years. So I don't know if the school district can assure. I know that they have verbally articulated that wouldn't be part of the process. But even to take it a step further, there are some people who think that the scores or the results might even be used to support more charter schools or that charter school movement, and we already know that is happening. And so when we talk about the attack on public school education, there are some who believe that the park and tests like that could have that type of impact, could lead towards more charter schools and the closing of public schools in districts around the state.
But Margie, did you at one time
Yes, I did.
had intentions of starting a charter school?
Yes, I did.
So does that mean you're against public schools?
No, that doesn't mean I'm against public.
And that's not to say that all charter schools are bad or that all people who run charter schools are against public.
No, I mean, and I guess you would have to make that clear. I think, and I don't want this discussion to be about my vision of a school.
No, just brought that up. Just brought it up because I think a lot of people say that charter school does have a negative impact.
I think that the biggest negative impact of charter schools is corporate charter schools, if that's the best way to say it, versus a community-based school. So if you have a corporate charter school like KIPP and a couple of others that aren't coming to mind right now, these are corporations. They're private corporations. So the money from a charter school goes to a private company that is out for profit rather than and has a pretty cookie cutter model of educating people. And I don't think that anybody in this district who knows anything about the school of my intention would ever put in that category.
No. Quick question. Is it true that the schools will be in testing modes for 40 days, 20 in March?
Yeah, this
and 20
is a
in
question I have. How can a test, why do they say this is going to take for weeks? And, another question that topic we mentioned, because the park is going to replace the HESPA, yes? But then at the same time, it's not used as a gateway or, something to prevent or, make sure that someone graduates. So how is that going to work out?
Well, to answer your first
if you know the answer to that, I don't know if they know. Okay.
Just the answer to your first question, the testing will take place in March and May, but it's not like 2 full months of testing. And the way it works is grades 9, 10, and 11 will all be tested. The testing will take place in the morning from 8:15 to approximately about 10:30, and the grade level, the grades are staggered for the testing. So, for example, the week of March 2nd, the 11th graders will test. Right, the following week, the week of March 9th, the 10th graders will test, and then the week after that, March 16th, the 9th graders will test, and then the last week of the month is for makeups for students who may have been absent or ill during the testing. And then in May there's another round of a full week of testing for each of those grade levels.
So you're testing not from 8 until 2 or something, are you? Or
no, it's
okay.
It's 8:15 to 10:30. That's the approximate.
Oh, and then after that, then you go home. You're shut down, or have they figured that out yet?
I'm not sure, but I would believe it would probably be most of the time during testing you resume your regular schedule, after the testing.
How many 10th graders